country and all this area because man uh, he must to prepare all things and collect amount of money like or huge amount of money to buy furniture and prepare for everything like gold to buy and uh, uh, they must to pay some money when we say I don't know what's in English نقدم
I think this belongs to the dowry system. The dowry system where
Dowry?
family dowry, Dowry.
Dowry.
I don't agree with this system.
Mm.
This these things were set up hundreds of years ago when women did not go to work. When women did not go to work. This is why it was set up. But today women go to work. And why should the responsibility still to this day be put totally on the man? In the summer we had, in my husband's family, we had 4 weddings. 2 brothers got married. My husband's 2 brothers got married, and 2 of his sisters got married. Very expensive time for us, but never worry. And 2 of them decided they would not go with the traditional Jordanian way. They decided that half the costs would be paid by the bride and her family, and half the costs would be paid by us.
50,
50-50. They thought it was much fairer because it
That's
is
out of traditional. That's
tradition.
Middle East.
Tradition at some time has to be broken, and Jordan is in an economic crisis at the moment. Things here are
Yes.
things here are very expensive. Salaries are low.
Especially for
Sa-
guys.
salaries are low. Expenses are high. So why should it be left to a man to provide everything before a wedding?
And I want to tell you something.
In
My wife, every occasion expect we must bring gold or necklace or bracelets or anything gold every occasion like wedding
but
occasion.
for me, it is as if maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. I don't know, but I think this way that you are saying, okay, I've given you this gold. Now you are my wife, and I own you. You are my, you are my possession. You,
That's what's happened.
Kind of payment.
Yeah.
it's payment, yes,
Yeah.
like the Indians.
Yeah.
It's the same as the Indian system.
Slave, yeah.
The more gold you give, the higher up you become
Yes.
in the family. And for me, this is wrong. A woman is not a possession, not something that you own. It's not something that you own.
I agree with you.
You agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen so many families here with weddings, and the man has been expected to pay for everything, and he now, a lot of men are now in debt with their family, or are now in debt with the banks.
Yeah, actually, yeah. That's what happened.
Because
Always.
no, because things here are so expensive,
Yeah.
so expensive.
Yes.
In the 5 years I've lived here, my mother-in-law, very kind of her, kept giving me furniture that she didn't want in her house. Now, because I live alone now, I've had to start now clearing all her stuff out and buying my own. And when I look at the price of furniture here,
So expensive.
So
It is, actually.
I stood in the middle of the shop the other day and I went, shit. And people were walking past and they said, is there a problem? I said, the price of your furniture is so expensive. I could go to the UK and buy half, pay half the price. I could go to Malaysia and buy half the price. Okay, the salaries
For
in
foreign people, very problem if you want to buy new furniture to my home. All things new and expensive. If you want to back to my family, to my home in my country, I'm from Syria.
I know.
I want to buy all this furniture. Maybe I buy that furniture maybe less 10% from my I paid.
Yes,
Maybe I paid that furniture 10,000 GD. I will pay maybe 2,000 GD
you know a tumble dryer.
or 1,000.
You know tumble dryer, yes, a dryer for washing your after you finish with the washing machine. Okay, I saw one the other day because I need to replace mine. Here, 600. When I called my husband in the UK, I asked him, "Can you find out the price of this model and this make?" 1/3 of the price in the UK than it is here. 600 here, 200 in the UK.
Less than the
Three.
quarter.
It's about 1/3 of the price in the UK.
Wow.
And I think, my God, how honestly can a man manage to put furniture, for example, in 3 bedrooms, 1 family salon, 1 guest salon, dining table, and furnish 2 bathrooms, maybe 3 bathrooms, plus a hallway, plus a kitchen. And when I counted it up, I actually did a calculation, and I came out with a figure of around 60,000. Yes?
Maybe more.
Maybe more.
Yeah.
This was just an average figure. I didn't go to the expensive items. I went to middle of the road items. And yes, it's quite easy to spend 60,000. And I asked my father-in-law, I said, "How much did Ali spend on his house for the wedding?" And he said around 50 or 60,000, Karen. He said, because we kept all the receipts. And I just looked at him and my mouth was hanging open. And he said to me, "A problem?" I said, "It is so expensive in Jordan for a man to take all this responsibility on his shoulders."
It is actually.
So I can understand why I see some men walking around with a long face.
I will tell you something, please, if you allow me.
Yes,
When the man pays this all money for the wedding or his bride, this is sort of taxes in order he will become the head of the team, of the family, the head of the family. Because here we are in a masculine society, okay?
yes,
And if we want to fix this, we can fix. But unless we didn't fix the custody law, the divorcement,
yeah, divorce, yeah.
divorce procedure, there is a lot of things. It's very bad with the woman rights here.
I know.
So I think this is the only problem with the man, the wedding payment. Only this is the only problem for him. The others all problem for women. And if we solve this for man, that he will problem less. He will finish all of his problem on the shoulder of the women. I'm telling
How's your custody laws here with
you.
children?
The custody laws here is for men, usually.
The custody of a child.
Yeah. And you know, if the woman or the mother take her son or daughter, he will pay very low amount of money for
Ah.
her custody.
Oh,
The
okay.
children.
Of
Yeah.
child support.
Yeah. Child support is very cheap here. So, okay, we can fix this, but unless we don't fix the other laws, we are,
Stuck.
It's around 60 per month
60 dinar.
60 dinar for one
60
child.
for one child. Yeah?
Yeah,
And what does 60 dinar buy a child?
Yeah.
Nothing.
nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing for his.
So I feel the wedding payment is kind of tax because he is the God, coming God for the family.
In the UK, we pay. It used to be tradition that the bride's family paid for everything.
How much?
The bride's family would pay for everything in the wedding. The only thing a man would be responsible for is for the clothes, for himself, and his best men. You know, best men?
Yeah,
Best men.
maybe.
Maybe there's one or two or
Yeah.
three of them.
Yeah.
So the groom, the man, would be responsible for that and the honeymoon. That's it. But times have changed. Usually now it is around 50-50 between the bride's family and the
And there is
groom's
another-
family.
Yeah, there is another factor because the man is
But,
paying for his bride.
In society,
second-
that's very low.
Sorry.
The second factor, usually men older than women. And maybe the bride will be 18, 17, like this, let's say. How? It's unfair because she can't work. Maybe she didn't finish her studying also.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, that's make the man is responsible for all the payment. He is older, he works, he can take this responsibility. And this is the second factor. Also, although despite all of this speech, I'm against that. I'm against the man to pay for women.
I believe that if a woman goes out to work, she should at least share. She should share the household responsibilities within my own family, but not immediate family, like cousins. Man and woman got married. Woman had a responsible job before she got married, and 1 month after she got married, she handed in her notice at work.
She handled.
Her notice.
Uh-huh.
And went home and said to her husband, I'm not working anymore.
Clever, smart one.
Well, she wasn't that smart because she left them with almost, after 1 year, she left them with almost nothing because the money that he had taken from the bank as a loan was based on 2 salaries. Was based on 2 salaries, not a loan based on 1 salary. And it almost finished then. And she was forced basically to go back to work until everything was paid off.
This is logic. She should do. Yeah.
But it seems to be happening more and more in Jordan from people that I mix with. They get married and then the girls say, Halas, I'm married now. Now you can look after me. And they're quite happy in the mornings to go out and spend their husband's money going to coffee shops
Coffee shops.
with their
malls.
friends, yes?
Pubs.
This-
Pubs.
Pubs.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Some girls,
Yes, some do go. Yes, at night.
I strange from some girls when she is maybe studying university in first year or second year. When she is married, quit university. Why?
Yes, why?
And I want to rest.
I want to
I
rest.
don't need to study.
Yeah, they
Why?
always do that.
Yeah, this amazes me here in Jordan. The people work very hard for their baccalaureates. And then when they get married, the baccalaureate is, you might as well, a family might as well have gone to the bathroom, lifted the toilet seat and put all that money down the toilet and flushed it. How much is baccalaureate to do here? It's not cheap.
That's cheap, yeah.
In the UK, it amazes me here, people are studying for baccalaureate, people are studying for masters, people are studying for PhD. And I said to them, well, are you working? No. Why not? Well, I can't just do, I can't work and do baccalaureate, I can't work and do magister, I can't work and do PhD, doctoral. Why not? In the UK, it's expected. When you're doing baccalaureate, you are working part-time, 20 hours a week. When you're doing your magister, you basically, you go and work full-time and you do your magister in the evening, and the same with PhD. But here, no. All I get to hear from everybody is, oh, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired.
Nobody is happy or satisfied with his work.
I can understand why nobody is satisfied with their work, because I'm a great believer the companies should pay money for the hard work that people do. But here they don't. The salaries here are so low.
In the Mediterranean region like Jordan, Syria, Jordan is number one to be more civilized. For example, Jordan, we see like most of the girls get married after baccalaureate.
After university.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 years. But look at Syria. Syria, the girls get
You're a
married.
sweet Syrian, we will kill you.
Syria.
Yeah.
It's a free.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
Syrian people let the girls get married on
17,
no,
18.
13. 13,
Actually, yeah,
14.
it happened.
You mean Yemen?
13?
15 in Syria? No.
Yeah, no.
At 15, like,
13.
that's in the past. Not now.
No.
Here in Jordan.
It is actually
I
now.
did- I
It
did-
is actually now because I read a report from United Nations, and yes, this practice still goes on in Syria, but it's done very quietly. 13-year-olds getting married.
It is, and it's also here.
Here
I'm-
Yes, I know.
No.
I work in
trained
Babylon.
lawyer, and I know the legal terms here. There's go to Qadi al-Qada and see the little girls getting married.
Okay, but look at your whole environment, Jordanian environment, Jordanian rules, Jordanian. It's different.
Actually, we're not
Different
You
complaining
mean
about
Amman?
it.
If you say that about Amman, maybe
No, I'm talking
alright.
about Tafil.
Let's say Tafile, Karak,
Yes,
Ruwais.
Karak, yes.
Yeah, they marry on 13 and 14. And I'm a doctor, okay, in Sahab hospital, Totenji. And I see a lot of trouble, a lot of congenital deformity due to age of the mother, due to the relation. This is another story. The
Interbreeding.
relation, yeah, parents' relationship, because they are cousins or something like that. But this is another story. I'm talking about the age of the bride. No, she's younger than 18. But if you talk about Amman, yeah, we can say that
I'm
Amman
talking
more
about
civilized.
Tafil.
No,
My
I'm
hometown
talking
is
like,
Tafil. And
then don't talk
never-
about Syria, about Syria in general, because there is places.
We were only using it as Syria as an example.
Yeah, if we say that
But then
about
you've got that.
Yemen.
But then you've got. That's what I was about to say. You've got this in Yemen.
Yeah, Yemen,
Yemen.
yeah.
You have it in Iran.
In Iran, yeah.
But not in Syria.
Because the other day in my
Places.
British newspaper, there was a shocking article about girls as young as 9.
9.
9?
Yes, 9 years of age.
In which country?
Iran,
Iran.
where they have this temporary contract. It's not a full contract to last for a lifetime, like a wedding. It is only
That's right.
A short time.
a short time for maybe 1 hour.
Yeah, so something like
Yes,
that.
9 years of age.
years for that kind of contract?
9 years of age girls, yes.
Yeah, it happened in Iran actually.
Yes, it's very common.
Which is sad.
It's very sad. Because what happens if she gets pregnant?
The-
Girls have died.
The anatomy of the
The anatomy of the human or the female body is not meant to deliver children until at least 17 years of age, if not older, because the pelvic bones have not fully settled and formed.
From 18 to now.
But I feel sorry for men who, honestly, I feel sorry for men who have to provide everything.
Yeah, me too.
I
Actually.
feel really sorry for you
Sorry
men.
for women.
I know. I honestly, I keep an open mind on things, but as I've seen weddings in my husband's family, and I've been really, I had to sit down one night and think, my God, what are these people doing? Why one person is responsible for all this furniture coming into the house?
Yeah, and me as a girl, I don't accept that. And I will not do that to my husband, my future husband. And I won't.
And two of my sisters, or my husband's sisters, they refused the gold. They refused it. Said we come with nothing. We don't want the gold. All we want is a husband who my sisters are they work. My husband's sisters work, and they work very hard.
Where is work?
Hmm?
Where's work in government or?
No, one of them has her own business in Carrick, and the other one works for police here in Amman, yes? And they work hard. They don't expect their husband to provide everything. They don't expect their husband to go now and buy them clothes. They don't expect their husband to go and pay for all the shopping, all the food shopping. They now have done it the way that I advised them to do it, was split 50-50.
Yeah, as you said, if she works, it's 50-50. If she's not, that's it.
I know it says in the Quran that the man is to work and provide, and any money that the woman earns, she is to keep for herself. It's quite
Yes,
clear.
yes.
It's and remember, I'm a new Muslim, about 11 years. But this Quran was written a long time ago. Things have changed 1400 years ago. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, actually, everything changed.
But things have changed now.
Yeah.
And I think it's the responsibility of women to step up to the mark and say, okay, please,
We can't step
we help you.
Sorry, we can't step up the payment unless we step up another thing, another injustice here. You think that this payment, is it really for the bride? Do you think when the man make his furniture or give her a gold, is it actually to the bride? No.
For the family?
Actually for him to own here with gold and furniture.
I know giving gold. No, but this is the way I look at it from a Western point of view. I was not brought up in this culture. From
Not
a West,
all.
no,
Yeah, sure, not all people like
No.
the same.
But for me-
we are talking about society. How many men you know after the wedding by 2 or 3 months and said, please sell your gold
Yes.
because I'm not in a good
And she will do it.
Yeah, and I need some money. Please, yeah, and she do it.
the gold from,
Yeah, a
But-
lot of people.
but as a,
Actually for him.
but the gold you give here is very little compared to, no, it's very little compared to what Indians give.
We were talking about this like
I
earlier.
have been to India.
I lived in India for
In
10
March,
years.
yeah.
10 years?
Yes,
And I see very strange things.
yes.
Yeah, according to God.
But if you go to their weddings, and I went to many weddings, village weddings and high-class weddings, all the gold is much more than you will ever see in your life.
Yeah.
Yes,
Although the poorest country. in the
Yes.
world.
Like it's, yeah. But actually, I feel like, the man, he not supposed to give his bride gold.
It's
Only
the-
as a
this
gift.
for me is, even when I was living,
No,
Only as
in
a
the
gift.
in the wedding, all family proud,
This is the culture. This is
and all women stay. What's the present or the man give her and make photo? Look what's give her and make
I
for
don't
her.
agree with this.
And
I know, yeah.
next day in wedding, make a news between us.
Actually, yeah, they
How's
talk
that?
about
Start
the,
to talk about
yeah, you know,
this
they
stuff.
gossip about the what? Did you see what did the husband give his bride?
admit to her?
Actually, I don't want that.
No.
Only as a gift, and I will give him a gift also. Not only him. I 100% agree with you.
and I don't believe in Mahar either.
I don't believe in Maher either. No.
Oh, you and I think the same. Because I'm only married 7 years to a Jordanian, and he asked me, we got married in Malaysia, and he asked me, what do you want for your Mahar? And I said, oh please, I hoped you would not bring this subject up. He said, but you must have something. And all our friends were saying, but Karen, Maybe you want designer sunglasses. Maybe you want expensive perfume. Maybe you want this. Maybe you want that. And they said, but you have to accept matter. And I just said, okay. If I must accept, I must accept. So I went 50. And my husband said, what, 50 JD? And I said, no, 50 ringgits, which is the currency of Malaysia. And it works out at around 8 JD. And they looked at me and thought I was crazy. Said, that's all you want? I said, I don't want to come into my husband's family to be seen that I'm going to take. My husband's family are very rich. Wait a minute, I have never asked them for 1 dinar. Never. Because I never want anyone to say, oh, she only married you for your money. And my husband lives in England, I live here, because he lectures in a university in England. And we see each other every 2 months. And one of my, even if I was short of money for food, I would not go to him, I would not go to his family. I would not. I have my principles.
Independent, yeah.
I have my principles. I will not ask. My father-in-law, when we had a family gathering at the wedding, because usually he gives a talk with all the family, just the brother, his sons and daughters, and me, and he said to everybody, the only person in this family who has never asked me for anything or asked Omi for anything is Karen. She would starve. She would go without food before she would ask. And it's true. I did not marry into this family because of their money. I married into this family because I love my husband. And I won't ask. And my husband, every time he calls me, he says, are you all right for money? Most of it, please don't ask me this question. I'm fine. I have my own savings. But I know you very well, Karen. I know you very well that you won't ask. And I said, I won't ask. So why are you asking me? No point.
Can I tell you something? It's a story. There's someone, a girl, loved a man a lot, and she told him, I don't want mahr. I really don't want mahr. I just love you. And then he told her, that's strange. Why? What did you do? And you're not good. Why you don't want mahr? You know?
Something to hide.
Yeah. So I'm afraid to keep this thinking right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, not all of the rooms support that you are not, you don't believe in mahr.
That's why I said the payment for him.
Yeah. It's a story.
I'm not a
real
possession.
story.
I'm not a possession. I'm not something or someone to be owned by someone. I'm owned by one person. 2 people. Allah and myself. I'm not owned by any man.
I will tell you something. Every wedding, my wife asked me, how many grams you are giving me? And she want to compare between her cousin or her
Yeah, they do
sister.
that.
I
do
know
that.
they do. And it's wrong.
And that's time, gold very expensive, and the time crisis before 10 years. I give her maybe 100 gram, and her cousin, I think 60 gram. Between very different between
Yes.
that, because crisis and that's time very hard like last time, and maybe golden more expensive, and all girls, all women in the family think that's not good or poor to bring less
Malaysia have done it the
less
correct.
like all cousin and family.
And they will talk about you.
Yes.
They will say
But
things
Malaysia
about
now, Malaysia have done it a very sensible way. They have put a flat rate on matter.
How?
A flat rate, 120 ringgits, which is 20 JD.
Certain for all people?
Yes,
Good.
they've made it fairer.
You know, fair.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
acceptable.
But still,
I guess.
it's still, for me, it's still as if you're being owned.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
Sure.
customs. When the mahar is very low, you can accept the idea. It's kind of customs. It's low.
That's why I went with HJD. 50 ringgits from, and that was it.
And I will do that. And I will do that.
You you marry your husband because of love,
Yeah.
not because of what he can give.
But we want to find someone who thinks like us.
It's your generation. It's your generation that will change this.
Yeah.
It's too late for these guys. It's too late for you because they've married and paid out their gold and mahar. It's your generation that will change.
I'm younger than her.
Hmm?
Younger than her.
They are changing.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I see men, and I have many male students, and they get married. I go to their weddings, and I see them. You know, they're not focusing on my cars, and I say, to them, "What's wrong? Something is bothering you today?" "Oh, you will never guess. My wife to be has picked out a fridge freezer at around 1,200. I have only budgeted six. I've only budgeted 600. But her family insists that this is what I buy. It's too much pressure for a man.
It's too.
I feel sorry for you men. I really,
No.
I do. Honestly, my heart goes out to men getting married. And there are now, because I read in the British newspaper last week, and I also read in one of the Jordanian papers in English, there are now just over 1 million unmarried women in Jordan.
1 million.
Yes,
Women?
yes, just over 1 million unmarried women in Jordan.
Yeah, I
And
know.
there
And I,
is-
c- and I thought this was quite high, but when I look around, I can understand.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
I can understand.
I know a lot of people, a lot of guys who want to marry, but they can't. They can't pay the marriage.
Yes, they can't pay.
Then they reach 40.
And the other thing is, housing here, for most people, is expensive.
Very expensive.
Whereas if you look at Chile, there is a Spanish architect, and what he does is he builds a complete house
Yeah.
but divides it in two. So one half looks like a proper house, and the other half it still has the roof and the external walls and the internal walls and the floors, but it's at the front of it, it's open. So you buy the first half, you buy all of that for 10,000, and when you have a bit more money, then you can start to finish the second half. And it's low cost housing for people in Chile. It's low cost housing for people in Brazil, because he's taken the idea now to Brazil. So, okay, this is your house, yes? So, divided in half, this half is completely finished. It gives you the basic essentials like a kitchen, a living room, 1 bedroom, and a bathroom. Yes.
Yeah.
So the front of it is completely finished like a normal house. The second half is open. It's got the roof, it's got the external wall, it's got the floors
Yeah.
and the internal walls, but no front. So when you can afford, once you've paid your 10,000 for all, yes, and when you've saved up enough money, then you go to the second half and do it yourself. And they should introduce something like that here. Because I have some people who come to me and tell me I only have this amount of money. And even my friends in England, my friends' children or grandchildren, this is what we have to do a living room. Can you help me design one? Because I can do things, buy cheaper things that will last, but will look as if $1 million have been spent on it. But here, no, people can't do this.
What's $1 million? What?
For example, okay, one of my friends only had £1,000 to do her living room.
1,000.
£1,000, which is the same as JD.
Yeah, yeah.
What pounds? How much between?
Almost the
They're,
same.
it's the
Same,
same. It's the
same.
same.
The same.
And she said to me, "I'm a student, getting married. I only have £1,000 to do my living room. What should I do?" And I designed a living room for her, and we were exactly on 1,000. And when she showed her parents, they asked her, "How could you afford this? This is expensive." And said, "No, Karen knows where to go for us to buy furniture. I know places in England where companies are going to close down. So if a company's closing down, you get in first.
Sales, yeah.
You start and go first, yes." Here, somebody asked me in my own house, somebody asked me, "Where did you get this beautiful set of drawers?" It's about this high off the floor. It's in my dining room. "I haven't seen like this before." And I said, "No, you won't see it because I did it. I took the handles off the drawers, covered them in, covered the holes in, sanded everything down, gave it a base coat, and then painted pictures of birds and everything through the drawers. Took me about 2 months to do it, but, and do you know how much I paid for the drawers? 20. 20 JD.
20.
Yes, and decorated the front of it myself. I just honestly, my heart goes out to men here. Feel sorry for men. All this expense. Plus medical bills as well. I forgot about that. Do you get free medical treatment here, or
No.
you have to pay?
No,
I must pay.
only Jordanian. We're Syrian. We must pay.
Not all Jordanian
Mm-mm.
are
They could
medical
join
insurance.
التأمين. What should تأمين?
Yeah,
Insurance.
yeah,
Insurance.
they
Yeah.
can have assurance. but
Some
not for
company
all.
they have assurance
But not
to
for all.
connect
Insurance.
all employee and family. Some,
Yeah.
not all.
Your government, I think government employees get.
Below 6 years and after 60 years, this is for all. But between these, not all Jordanian have insurance,
Yeah. Yeah.
medical insurance.
So what happens when you get to 60? Man and woman?
After 60, yeah, all people in Jordan have this insurance. After 60
get
years
paid.
old.
They get paid.
And then
Ah.
60
So what happens when they go to the hospital? They have to pay after 60?
No.
No, after 60 they are insured.
Oh, they are
Yeah.
insured.
Medical
kids,
insurance. And
children,
kids till 6 years
Yeah.
old also
Just
insured.
in
But between
one
these,
managing.
When you're the working years,
yeah, not all.
not all.
Only governmental worker
Yeah.
have that insurance.
Or you're paying to.
I mean, yeah, medical insurance. You can pay for your own in order to have medical insurance.
I pay my medical insurance in the UK.
In UK, you
Yeah.
pay. Yeah. I think it's similar to it in UK. Here, the medical insurance here in Jordan is very similar to
I
UK.
think in the UK, you pay them taxes,
Yes.
very high taxes, but you get something in return. Free schools,
Yes. Free schools, yes.
yeah, and free medical.
Well, it's not actually free because
you
you're
pay a
pa-
percentage.
no, you're paying for it. You are paying for it indirectly with your taxes and national insurance.
Yeah,
So you don't physically see the money. You're not physically paying the money out.
yeah, every
By hand?
area has its own GP, and everything, even transportation.
Transportation in the UK, depending what part of the UK, once in 60, free. All transportation.
160.
Yeah, when you get to 60 years of age,
60.
yeah, all transportation is free. Television license for over 7, because we have to pay in the UK a license to have a television, which we pay to the BBC. You know the BBC? Yes. Yes.
I don't get it, please.
Hmm?
Can you repeat, please?
BBC.
BBC channel.
BBC
We have to pay a license every year to have television.
to have the
If you are watching BBC, you must pay a license. Yes, and it's 154 a year.
That's a
A
lot.
year.
A year?
only BBC or
No, if you can prove that you do not watch BBC,
You don't pay.
then you don't have to pay the license. But it's very difficult to prove. And they actually have vans, lorries, with men and women inside that go around the streets, and they can stop outside anybody's house, and they will know exactly if they're watching BBC. Yeah, the technology we have now in the UK is phenomenal. It really is. We have so many cameras everywhere now.
at least I read something.
All things controlled.
We have in the UK, they have the highest number of cameras than any other country in the world.
Yes, I read something to that. That once you get from your house to your work, at least you will be on camera 3 times.
Yes. Yeah.
But maybe that's why you feel more secure there.
No.
No?
Why would a camera make you feel scared? Camera.
Secure,
Oh,
not
secure, yes.
Yeah.
You don't know where cameras are. The police hide them in different places.
But that's good.
House owners have them. My husband has a camera outside his place now. And he can link in from his phone wherever he is in the world to see if anybody is at his house. So if he was in Malaysia, he can look on his phone to see what's happening in his house. Here, I don't need cameras. No, I feel safe here.
Yeah, yeah. Me too.
Very safe here. But if I was to go and live in England again, no, I would not.
Here just we are prepare camera in a factory or
But more and
place
more-
and
No, more because
controlled
I'm
in your home or where
I'm
is
a
place.
teacher. I'm a teacher, and I go to many homes during the week, and I can see more and more people now having cameras outside their gates, outside their apartment doors. I can see now.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a technology in pharmaceutical industry company and prepare a camera, CCTV inside,
Yeah.
And in my phone,
You can see.
we can
Yes.
see all factory in camera, and that's very important for
Yeah.
director
Yeah.
and control all employee in there.
And also, it should bring your company insurance down. It should reduce the cost of your insurance.
Life.
Yeah,
I
I've
think
seen
that-
this. My husband has a house now in the UK, which I go and visit. The lights in his house, he can put on from his phone.
Yeah, that's
The
smart
outside lights,
smartphone technology.
yeah, the outside lights, and he can switch on any of the lights in any room in the house
By his phone.
Nice.
Yeah,
by his phone,
by
yes.
his phone, yeah.
And it actually has brought his house insurance down. And it's the same way with a car. If you have dash cam, you know the camera on your dashboard, in the UK it brings your insurance down. It reduces it.
Can you repeat, please?
Dash cam,
Dash cam.
a camera on your dashboard.
Dashboard.
Yes, because they decided in the UK and also in America that there were so many. You have an accident with someone. You say it's her fault.
Yeah.
She says no. It was his fault. With a dash cam, there is no argument.
No argument.
because there is evidence there for the police
Yes.
and for the courts.
Yeah.
So dash cam can actually reduce the insurance that
We need it
you
here.
pay, and this is something they need here.
And explain all things inside.
Yes.
What's happened and the true between.
But it still doesn't alter the fact I still feel sorry for men here paying everything.
No, actually, she said the legal terms, and I'm with her in this point.
Yeah, I will always feel sorry for men here.
She said about the legal terms, and I'm with her in this point because the legal terms here and in Syria are with men like more than women.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot. Yani, I'm a lawyer and I know. Yeah. So I
Kind
don't
of
feel
taxes.
sorry. I don't feel sorry for them a lot.
You don't feel sorry for the men?
Not a lot because the law protect them to yani is protecting them.
Okay, so if a man and a woman are getting divorced, for example, how do the courts decide? As you're a lawyer, I will ask you direct. How do the courts decide whether mother gets full custody or father gets full custody?
It's 700% for the father, but
And in my country, it's the opposite. It's the mother.
Yeah. That's why we said the payment is sort of taxes because of his value,
Yes.
value. You know, in US.
I never looked at it as a tax. Now I would go home tonight thinking, no. This is why I like these conversations because it gives me something to think
have to
about.
have another point of view.
that's
Yes.
why me too. That's why.
I'll say in USA, there's the divorces happened. They almost
Half and
share the money
Yeah.
and share everything they own, both half and half. Here, the wife could help him and do a lot of things for him, but she is not legally work. She can, okay? When the divorces is happen, usually she will go to her family. There is no place to go. But this furniture is not for the bride.
It's his.
He will stay in his place.
I'm bringing new wife in.
Yes.
Well,
And she could
yeah.
then
Using
say
the
no.
furniture that I had used, no thank you.
That's why I said for him. It's actually for him, not for her. But this is society talking. It's for the bride. Actually,
No.
No. No. In all of the principles. No, not for her.
Mm,
I see this in my point of view. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I don't know. I still think that the system we have in my country is better.
Yeah, sure. Not better. The best. The best.
I didn't say it was the best. I just think it was better.
For me, I feel the better is best because our laws are very bad. Very bad for men, for women, for children. All of rights. For,
The children here, I think, suffer more.
yeah.
If a marriage breaks up, I think here it's the children who suffer more.
We were talking about the schools, homework. They don't listen to the kids. They feel that they don't understand. Despite the kids do understand more than us, and they are sensitive and they have their own ideas.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, here there is no rights for any.
I will listen to a child, and I always tell my children, don't think that I know, or my students, don't think that I know everything, because I don't. And if you think I've made a mistake with something, open your mouth and tell me, but tell me in a nice way. Don't be rude about it. And the other thing here, I've had to educate fathers. Please, why are you never interested in what your child does? When was the last time you read a school report? When was the last time you looked at your children's exam marks? Oh,
Me never.
never. Why? It took two of you to make this child. It should take two of you to raise this child.
This is the responsibility of the mother.
I know.
From A to Z.
But now I have
He,
educated.
he comes like a guest to his home.
Yes?
Yeah.
But now I have.
But
But
maybe,
now
but maybe man will be working to night
excuse me, how long does
to
it?
to bring all
If your wife
all
works,
things.
if your wife works with you, you don't need all of this work or all this time to work. You are 50-50 and you can share the
And how
rest of
long
the
does it?
time, yeah.
And how long does it take to look at a child's school
Listen
marks?
to him. Listen to him. Is it okay if your wife are working?
Not working.
Is it okay for you?
Yes, no problem. But I asked her, what do you want to work?
Yes.
You are leave university in first year.
Yeah.
She is
Because of you.
yeah. That's for me. I tell her continue university. No, I don't want.
support
I
her.
I stay willing to rest.
Yeah.
But how long does it take a father, honestly, on a Friday morning, for example, before father goes to masjid or wherever he goes, just to look at a child's school book and to see, bravo, you are a thinker, excellent work. But how long does it take? 10 minutes?
Less.
Maybe less, yes. But I've encouraged all the fathers now of my students, please take an interest in your child's work. Please. And they do now. They do. And I say to my students, did you show Baba your marks? Yes.
They respond to you, to your.
Yes, they do, because, yes, I basically leave them with no other choice. I basically leave them with no other choice, because I just say to them, it took two of you to make this child, so when this child came into the world, like that you forget. And it makes them think. Do it on a Friday. Oh, I don't have time. You don't have time? But you have time to go to coffee shop when I saw you last week in Mecca. And I just said to him, okay. Family time is usually Friday morning. All the family have breakfast together.
Yeah.
That's the time to go around each of your children and say, let me see your school books. 10 minutes per child.
You know, it's very good, very okay if he ask his children, how are you?
Yes? You know, some of my children couldn't, whenever I started with them, couldn't even remember the last time Baba gave them a hug.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember the last time Baba gave them a kiss.
And you still sorry for
And
them?
one, I felt sorry for them. And now, after speaking to fathers, the fathers are coming in the door for lunch or coming in from work and actually making the effort now to go around each child with a hug and a kiss. And that means a lot to a child. And wives have told me, my husband's better since you came along. And it's nice. I can't cure the world, but I can make a difference to some people's lives. And that's what we have to do.
Of course.
The world is not just here for me, it's not just here for you. It's to help each other. So, what time is it?
8:35.
Okay, we will finish now. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now I can go home and think about taxes. No, but you've given me something to think about.